First contact and imminent threat. The stars looked different from this far out in the spiral arm. Science Director Villa pressed her iridescent fingers against the viewing glass of the Galari expedition vessel Enlightenment. Her pale blue skin shimmered with excitement as she gazed at the unfamiliar constellations. After 16 cycles of deep space exploration, the Galari Science Coalition had finally reached the edge of uncharted space. Director, all systems report optimal function, announced Navigation Officer Terrace, his translucent antenna flickering with the neural signals that connected him to the ship's systems. The anomalous energy readings from the third planet in this system have intensified. Preliminary analysis suggests advanced technological development. Vila nodded, her large almond-shaped eyes reflecting the distant yellow star. Begin passive observation protocols. Maintain our position behind the gas giant's moon. We are here to study, not to interfere. The Enlightenment was not designed for speed or combat. Its sleek, crystalline structure housed the most advanced scientific equipment the Galari had developed in their 7,000 years of peaceful technological advancement. The vessel's primary mission was to expand knowledge, catalog new species, and eventually, when appropriate, establish diplomatic contact with spacefaring civilizations. Fascinating, Vela whispered as the main screen displayed images of the blue-green world. The inhabitants have achieved nuclear power, basic space travel, and global communications in less than 500 years. Their development rate is unprecedented. The crew of 32 Galari scientists worked diligently, collecting data on the species they had designated as humans. Their world, Earth, was a vibrant contrast of technology and nature, conflict, and cooperation. Director, called Science Officer Marin, her voice tense. Long-range sensors are detecting energy signatures approaching from Sector 9. The pattern matches. Draken vessels. A cold silence fell over the bridge. Every Galari knew of the Draken, predatory nomads who viewed technologically inferior species as prey. They didn't conquer, they hunted. The Galari homeworld was protected by a coalition of advanced species, but out here, the Enlightenment was vulnerable. How many? Vila asked, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. 3 Hunter-class vessels initially, now 5 more appearing. They're employing some form of phase shift technology. The main screen shifted to show dark, angular ships emerging from what appeared to be tiers in space. Unlike the elegant Galari vessel, the Draken ships resembled ancient predators, with jagged protrusions and blood-red energy signatures pulsing along their hulls. "They've detected us," Terrace reported, his antenna quivering. "They're moving to surround our position." Vila made a swift decision. Send emergency protocols to the homeworld, then broadcast on all frequencies, including toward the human planet. Perhaps they can at least document what happens here. As the Draken ships formed a hunting circle around the Enlightenment, a harsh voice thundered through their communication system. "Attention, Galari vessel. This is Hunt Commander Thrax of the Draken Dominion. Your science vessel has been selected for the honor of our hunt. Prepare to be boarded or destroyed at our leisure." The screen revealed a Draken for the first time. Commander Thrax stood nearly 8 feet tall, his scaled skin a deep charcoal gray with crimson markings along his face and neck. Bone-like armor covered his shoulders and chest, adorned with various tokens, trophies from previous hunts. "This is Director Villa of the Galari Science Coalition," she responded, her voice never wavering. "We are on a peaceful research mission. We pose no threat to the Draken Dominion." Thrax's yellow eyes narrowed as his lipless mouth stretched into what might have been a smile. "Threat? No, you misunderstand. The Draken do not hunt threats. We hunt the weak. It is our ancient right to test ourselves against the galaxy's lesser species. Our coalition has a non-aggression treaty with the Dominion Council," Vela stated, knowing it was futile the protocol demanded the attempt. "Treaties protect your home systems, not strays who wander into unclaimed space." Thrax replied, "Your vessel's technology will make a worthy addition to our fleet, and your scientists will provide entertainment for my warriors. Those who survive may even earn the honor of serving the Dominion." The first Draken vessel moved closer, extending metal tendrils designed to pierce the Enlightenment's hull. The Galari ship's defenses were minimal, designed to deflect space debris, not weaponized attacks. "Director," called Communications Officer Lyran, "our emergency signal has been received by the human planet." Hope flickered across Vela's face. The humans. What could they possibly? Receiving response on multiple frequencies, Lyran continued, surprise evident in her voice. "The humans are. They're coming." One vessel approaching at high velocity. The bridge crew exchanged confused glances. The humans were pre-FTL, limited to their own solar system. What could they hope to accomplish against Draken hunters? Commander Thrax seemed equally puzzled. What primitive trick is this? No species in this sector has the capability to challenge a Draken hunting party. On the view screen, a small object appeared, moving at impossible speed from the direction of Earth. As it drew closer, they could make out its shape. Angular but sleek, with propulsion systems unlike anything the Galari had documented. The vessel was a fraction of the size of the Draken ships, perhaps capable of holding a crew of 20 at most. "Human vessel approaching Draken fleet at high velocity," reported Terrace. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Suddenly, the bridge filled with sound, a rhythmic, pulsing beat accompanied by what must have been human voices. The music was unlike anything the Galari had heard before, with a driving intensity that seemed to vibrate through their very beings. The Draken ships paused their approach, momentarily confused by the small ship's bold advance and its strange audio broadcast. Even Commander Thrax seemed taken aback. "What is this?" he demanded. "Identify the approaching vessel." A human voice responded, clear and confident. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Ship Phoenix. You are engaged in hostile actions against an unknown vessel in space claimed by Earth. Stand down immediately." Thrax's expression shifted from confusion to amusement. "Earth, your primitive world claims no territory beyond its atmosphere. Your vessel is impressive for such a young species, but you face 8 Draken hunter ships. Return to your world while you still can." The human ship continued its approach, showing no signs of slowing or changing course. Instead, it began to maneuver between the Draken vessels with impossible agility, as if taunting them. "Final warning," Commander Reyes replied. "The vessel you're threatening is under Earth's protection now. Withdraw or face the consequences." Thrax's amusement turned to anger. "Insolent prey species. Destroy that ship." The Draken hunters turned their weapons toward the Phoenix, firing energy beams that should have vaporized the small vessel instantly. Yet somehow, the human ship anticipated each attack, twisting and turning through space in patterns that defied conventional navigation. Director Vela watched in astonishment as the lone human ship danced between multiple Draken attacks. How are they moving like that? Their technology shouldn't be capable of such maneuverability. On the bridge of the Phoenix, Commander Elena Reyes gripped her command chair as the ship executed another near-impossible turn. At 38, she was younger than most vessel commanders, but there was no one more qualified to pilot the experimental warship. With short dark hair and intense green eyes, she projected the confidence needed to lead humanity's first deep space defensive mission. "Tactical analysis complete," reported Lieutenant Zhang. 8 Draken vessels, Hunter class, energy weapons consistent with Level 4 civilization. They're surrounding what appears to be a scientific vessel of unknown origin. "And our odds?" Reyes asked. "Conventional engagement, approximately 0% survival probability," Zhang answered. "With the Phoenix's experimental systems, still not great, Commander." Reyes smiled grimly. "Then it's a good thing we're not planning a conventional engagement. Deploy countermeasures. Let's show these hunters what happens when they mistake humans for prey." The Phoenix released dozens of small objects that scattered throughout the battlefield. To the Draken sensors, they appeared as system malfunctions, Ghost readings that multiplied and confused their targeting systems. What trickery is this? Thrax demanded as his gunners reported multiple human ship signatures appearing and disappearing across their screens. The Phoenix suddenly accelerated toward the nearest Draken vessel, deploying what appeared to be a primitive projectile weapon. The hunter ship's commander laughed at such an outdated attack method, until the projectile split into hundreds of smaller components that attached themselves to the ship's hull. Electromagnetic pulse deployed, Lieutenant John confirmed. Target ship's systems shutting down. The first Draken vessel went dark, its weapons and propulsion systems disabled by technology they had dismissed as primitive. The hunting circle broke formation as confusion spread through the Draken fleet. Impossible, Thrax roared. All ships, converge on the human vessel. Use wide dispersal energy nets. But the Phoenix was already moving to position itself between the Draken fleet and the Galari Enlightenment. Attention Galari vessel, Commander Reyes transmitted. This is Earth. We received your distress signal. Prepare for emergency docking. We're getting you out of here. Director Vela could hardly believe what she was witnessing. A pre-FTL species was challenging the feared Draken hunters, and somehow, against all logic, they appeared to be winning. The battle and alliance. The Draken hunting fleet regrouped, their initial confusion giving way to coordinated anger. Hunt Commander Thrax's voice thundered across all communication channels. All ships, full attack formation. No primitive species makes a mockery of the Draken hunt. Inside the Phoenix, Commander Reyes watched the tactical display as 7 functioning Draken vessels formed a new attack pattern. The 8th drifted powerless, its systems still scrambled by the electromagnetic pulse. They're adapting faster than expected, Lieutenant Zhang noted. The EMP won't work twice. It doesn't need to, Reyes replied. Deploy Phase 2. On the Galari vessel Enlightenment, Director Vela and her crew watched in fascination as the human ship executed maneuvers that should have been impossible for its size and presumed technological level. Director, the human ship is requesting emergency docking, Communications Officer Lyron reported. They're offering evacuation. Vela hesitated only briefly. Open docking port 3. Prepare the senior science team for potential evacuation. Everyone else, secure all research data. The Phoenix approached the crystalline Galari vessel, extending a docking apparatus that seemed crude compared to the elegant alien design, yet somehow compatible enough to create a secure seal. Through the viewport, Vela could see humans in protective suits working quickly to adjust their technology to interface with the Galari systems. Meanwhile, the Draken ships launched a barrage of energy weapons, their crimson beams converging on the Phoenix's position. Instead of attempting to evade, the human ship deployed what appeared to be reflective panels that scattered and redirected much of the energy back toward the Draken vessels. Primitive but effective, Science Officer Marin observed. They're using our own stellar observation principles, but applied to weapon energies. Through the docking port came 2 humans, 1 male, 1 female, both wearing sleek blue uniforms with Earth Defense emblazoned on their shoulders. The female stepped forward. Commander Elena Reyes, Earth Defense Force, she said, her voice translated through a device on her wrist. We don't have much time. The Draken hunters will regroup for another attack. Vela inclined her head in the Galari gesture of respect. Director Vela of the Science Coalition, your intervention is unexpected but deeply appreciated. How did a pre-FTL civilization develop such advanced defensive capabilities? Reyes smiled grimly. Let's just say humans have a long history of preparing for threats we hope never arrive. The Phoenix is our first deep space defensive prototype, equipped with technologies we've been developing in secret for decades. The male human, who introduced himself as Lieutenant Zhang, explained quickly, we can evacuate your senior personnel, but we can't fit your entire crew or tow your vessel. However, we believe we can protect you long enough to escape the system together. On the main screen, they could see the Draken vessels regrouping. 3 had sustained damage from their own redirected energy weapons, but the remaining 4, including Thrax's command ship, were preparing for another attack. "Whatever plan you have," Vela said, "it must be implemented quickly." Commander Thrax was furious. The hunt that should have been a simple exercise in dominance had become an embarrassment. A primitive species, barely out of its planetary cradle, was defying the Draken dominion. "All functional vessels, prepare for synchronized assault," he ordered. "Target both ships. No survivors." As the Draken hunters moved in for the kill, the Phoenix detached from the Galari vessel and positioned itself directly in the path of the oncoming attackers. What happened next astonished both the Galari and the Draken. The human ship began broadcasting on frequencies that penetrated the neural interfaces of the Draken control systems. The hunters relied on partial biological integration with their vessels, an advantage in normal circumstances, but now their greatest vulnerability. Dissonant sounds and contradictory neural signals flooded the Draken ship's control systems, causing physical pain to the crews. Several ships began firing randomly, hitting their own allies in the confusion. "What is this sorcery?" Thrax demanded, clutching his head as the signals penetrated even his command ship's shielding. Commander Reyes opened a direct channel to Thrax's vessel. "This isn't sorcery, Hunt Commander. It's science, specifically the science of turning your biological advantages against you. Humans understand predators better than you might think. We were prey once, long ago, until we learned to outthink what we couldn't outfight." On the bridge of the Phoenix, Lieutenant Zhang reported, "Their formation is breaking. 2 ships colliding, 1 attempting to retreat. Open a channel to all Draken vessels," Reyes ordered. When the connection was established, she continued, "Attention Draken fleet, this is your only warning. The vessel you attacked is now under Earth's protection. Retreat immediately, or we will be forced to demonstrate more permanent countermeasures." To emphasize her point, the Phoenix deployed its final weapon, a series of small, autonomous drones that attached themselves to the hulls of the remaining Draken ships. Each drone emitted a localized field that disrupted the biological components of the Draken vessels, essentially severing the neural connection between ship and crew. Thrax watched in horror as his mighty hunters became little more than drifting metal, the crews inside disconnected from their control systems. Only his command ship remained partially functional, protected by additional shielding. "Impossible," he growled. "No prey species defeats the Draken. Who are you humans, really? What coalition do you serve?" Commander Rice's voice was calm but carried an unmistakable edge of steel. "We serve humanity, Hunt Commander. We're not part of any coalition. Yet. Consider this a formal introduction to the galactic community. Humans protect their own, and as of today, that protection extends to peaceful visitors to our system." For the first time in his long career of hunting weaker species, Thrax felt something unfamiliar: doubt. These humans fought like nothing he had encountered before, not with overwhelming force, but with cunning and adaptability that turned the hunter's own strengths against them. "This violation of Dominion hunting rights will not stand," Thrax declared, though with noticeably less conviction. "The Draken Council will hear of this." "Good," Reyes replied. "Make sure you tell them exactly what happened here. Earth doesn't seek conflict, but we will not tolerate predatory behavior in our space. Now go while your ships can still move." The disabled Draken vessels were gradually regaining minimal function as the drone's effects began to dissipate. Enough to limp away, but not enough to pose a threat. One by one, they retreated, leaving only Thrax's command ship facing the Phoenix and the Enlightenment. "This isn't over, humans," Thrax snarled. "The Draken do not forget." "Neither do we," Reyes responded. "Remember that." As Thrax's ship finally turned and accelerated away, the bridge of the Phoenix erupted in cheers. They had faced their first extraterrestrial threat and emerged victorious. Hours later, representatives from Earth met formally with the Galari science team aboard the Enlightenment. The crystalline conference room hummed with excited conversation as humans and Galari exchanged information and expressed mutual gratitude. Your intervention saved not only our lives but decades of irreplaceable research, Director Vela said, her skin glowing with the blue light that indicated pleasure among her species. The Galari Science Coalition is in Earth's debt. Commander Reyes nodded respectfully. We're just glad we received your distress signal in time. Though I must admit, we've been observing your ship for the past week. Your cloaking technology is impressive, but our new detection systems are uniquely sensitive. Vela's large eyes widened. You detected us, even through our phase shifting. Remarkable for a species that hasn't yet developed faster than light travel. About that, Lieutenant Zhang interjected. We may not have FTL drives yet, but we've been developing alternative transportation methods. The Phoenix uses a space-folding technology that, while limited in range, gives us tactical advantages in local space. The Galari scientists exchanged looks of astonishment. Space-folding was theoretical even in their advanced civilization. It seems, Vela said carefully, that we have much to learn from each other. The Coalition has extensive star charts, cultural databases from hundreds of civilizations, and advanced biological sciences that might interest Earth. And in exchange, Rise offered, Earth can provide innovative defense technologies and our unique perspective on adaptive problem-solving. As the discussions continued, neither humans nor Galari fully realized the significance of what had occurred. Across the galaxy, word would soon spread of a young species that had defeated Draken hunters with ingenuity rather than force, a species that extended protection to others without demanding submission in return. In the vast darkness between stars, the balance of power had shifted ever so slightly. The hunters had become the hunted, and humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy not with conquest, but with an act of protection. The Draken would indeed return, but when they did, they would find not an isolated Earth, but the beginning of a new coalition, one founded not on fear or dominance, but on mutual respect and the simple principle that even in the cold vastness of space, there was room for compassion. And among the stars, watching from hidden places, other species took note. The prey had found a protector. Perhaps the age of hunters was finally coming to an end.